So how many of us get confused with those two science words of condensation and evaporation? Yes, he's back. We get confused, don't we, Pluto? Yes, we do. We have condensation and we have evaporation. All right, can you help us distinguish the two? Of course we can. There's always a solution to a problem when we work together. And you can always ask God to help, and God will find a way to help. Okay, so condensation and evaporation. How do you spell condensation? How do you spell condensation? With a C. Oh, and condensation. Here you go. Condensation. Right? Write it down. Condensation. Condensation is when water vapor changes to liquid water. When water vapor changes to liquid water because of the cool air that rises. Therefore, cool air that rises. Condensation starts with a C. Cool air that rises. What happens when the cool air increases or rises? Condensation, the water vapor, right? Think of the smoke and the fog. The water vapor becomes liquid water. It changes to liquid water. Can we remember that? Condensation, condensation. Water vapor changes to liquid water. Water vapor changes to liquid water. Water vapor changes to liquid water. Condensation, condensation. Water vapor changes to liquid water. Why? See. Because cool air temperature rises. So the water vapor becomes liquid water. Okay, and what about evaporation? How do you spell evaporation? How do you spell evaporation? This is how you spell evaporation. With that EV, right? Evaporation is when liquid water turns and becomes water vapor because the heat increases. The opposite of the cool water, of the cool air, because the heat air rises. Let's say that again. Evaporation is the process of liquid water turning or becoming water vapor because of the heat temperature increasing. And how are we going to remember that? Easily. You see here, evaporation, right? This one, condensation, cool. Cool air, cool temperature. Evaporation, heat. Heat air or heat temperature rises, right? Well, heat has an E and evaporation starts with an E. Those little tricks that you should pay attention to. Are you listening? Do you understand? What don't you understand? Evaporation is when the process of, you could say it's the process. Evaporation is the process of water liquid turning into water vapor because of the heat temperature, the heat air rising. And that heat causes the water liquid to turn into water vapor. And you can try this at home with an adult, with a supervisor, right, next to you. As long as you have supervision. Okay? Don't try it by yourself. All right, so condensation, cool air, evaporation, heat air. All right, let's sing evaporation. Ready? Evaporation, evaporation. water liquid. Water liquid turning into water vapor. Water liquid turning into water vapor. Water liquid turning into water vapor. Evaporation, evaporation. Water liquid turning into water vapor. I just thought about something else. Water liquid turning into water vapor. Evaporation has EV, and water vapor VAPOR. Get it? Again, evaporation is the process of water liquid turning into water vapor. Evaporation. So you say water vapor at the end, not at the beginning. With condensation, you say water vapor turning into water liquid. All right? Let's sing evaporation again. Evaporation, evaporation. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Evaporation, evaporation. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Liquid water turning into water vapor. And what about condensation? Condensation, condensation. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Condensation, condensation. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Because of the cool, it starts with the C. Condensation, cool air rises, so the water vapor is going to turn into liquid water. But with evaporation, it's the opposite. Evaporation, evaporation. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Liquid water turning into water vapor. Evaporation, evaporation. Liquid water turning into water vapor. And think of the EV, evaporation, and water vapor. I hope that helps. Just sing it. Write it down and sing it a lot of times. Multiple of times. I think if you stick to one first and then you move on to the other one, then you'll be able to solve that. All right? Well, we hope you enjoyed this class. Condensation, condensation. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Water vapor turning into liquid water. Condensation, condensation. Water vapor turning into liquid water. All right. We hope you enjoyed this class about condensation and evaporation. See you next time.